Hello everyone, Starr Baby Homestead here. I have a bunch of fresh jalapenos from our garden. So guess what I'm making? I'm gonna make candied jalapenos, also known as Cowboy Candy. This is a delicious sweet and spicy condiment that can be used on burgers. You can use and drizzle the brine and the sauce on ice cream. It can be made into barbecue sauce. There are a huge variety of ways that you can use cowboy candy. So let's get started. I just so happen to be making a double recipe here. So what you see is 3 pounds of fresh jalapenos. I have a tablespoon of garlic powder, a half a tablespoon of turmeric, a full cup of apple cider vinegar, and 3 cups of sugar. I know that seems like a lot. You can adjust it to your taste, but again, it is called candied jalapenos. And it's a double batch. So if you have all of this, you'd only have about 3 cups of sugar, but you do the math to figure out what works for you. Now, I'm going to be slicing these jalapenos into about a 1/4 inch, about this thickness. Not too thin and not too thick. And that's pretty much what's going to be the most time consuming. Then after we're done prepping, we're going to water bath and can this for long-term storage. Now these peppers have already been washed. Now, depending on how spicy you want this, we're going to cut off the stems. I'm going to put those to the side. You may want to core and take out some of the seeds if you don't want it spicy. But we don't mind spice in this house. So this is probably about the thickness you want it. Now you can go thicker, which I think after looking at this, I'm going to make these a bit thicker. Honestly, it's a little difficult to do with these gloves. So I may have to get some latex gloves. What you don't want to do though, is do something like rub your eye. These are spicy. Rub your eye or touch a part of your body that's going to react to the peppers. So I think I'm going to take my gloves off, but I'm going to definitely be mindful about where I put my fingers. All right, the jalapenos are all chopped up. That was a lot of work, by the way. My wrists are kind of tired. So any of these leftover seeds that we have here, they're going to go onto a paper towel to dry, and then we'll have our own seeds to plant for next year. And all of these tops that came from the jalapenos with the stems, I'm going to put those in a jar with some vinegar, and then I'm probably going to process them, water bath them for about 15 minutes or so, and then we'll have pepper sauce for use on greens and different vegetables to spice things up a bit. Okay, now we need to start working on our syrup. I am going to put this on about medium high. Let's go ahead and throw our sugar in here. Our vinegar. Our turmeric. And our garlic powder. Stir this up. And then we're going to bring it to a nice boil. So I almost made a crucial mistake when I was doubling. Something alarm bell went off that said, "You do not have enough liquid in here." And the original recipe calls for 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. This should be 2. So in goes another cup. All right. That looks a bit better. All right, so let's get this stirred up and then we're going to bring it to a boil. All right, we brought this to a boil. Let's reduce it down. We're going to reduce the heat. And we're going to simmer, let's see, for about 5 minutes. All right, our syrup has been simmering for 5 minutes now. We are going to add the jalapenos gently. You don't want any splash. Stir them up in here. And now we want to bring our mixture back up to high, up to a full boil. And once it gets up to a full rolling boil, we're going to turn the heat back down to medium-low and simmer it for 4 minutes before putting it into our jars. Okay, our peppers are boiling. We're going to reduce the heat again down to medium-low. And for 4 minutes, we're going to let that simmer. And then we're going to get our cans ready. So right about now is when my microphone died and I had no idea. So the rest of this video is going to be voiceover. I apologize for any inconvenience. So what I'm doing now is we're going to use our gadget here that keeps us from getting liquid everywhere. And we're going to remove the jalapenos with a slotted spoon and put them in the jars. We're going to be reducing this syrup down later, so we just want to make sure we get the peppers in there to allow as much room as possible in the jars to fill them up before we add the liquid. So I decided to just combine all of my jars. I had some space in all 4, so I just really packed them into 3. You can add sliced carrot and other veggies if you like to this. As you see, I already filled vinegar into my jalapeno tops. I added some cayenne peppers. But yeah, this is very versatile. You can add all kinds of veggies to this, but I just decided just to cram them in. And now we are going to boil down our syrup and then add it to our jars with the peppers. So we are bringing our liquid back up to a boil. And then we're going to turn it back down to a simmer. So we're boiling this for about 6 minutes now. We really want to reduce some of the liquid out of it just to make it a little bit thicker. And then once our 6 minutes is up, we're going to start ladling this in. All right, we want to go ahead and take this off the heat after our 6 minutes. And then we're going to start filling our jars to about an inch of head space. You can do 1/4. I safely kind of do an inch, especially if I plan on water bathing this, because you want to leave some air, a little room for expansion. Now, if you're going to put these right in the refrigerator, these will keep for a few months. And you want to probably give it at least 3 to 4 weeks for all that deliciousness to just marinate in. But if you're going to water bath, of course, once you can something, if you do it properly, it can last for years on the shelf. But you want to give it some time you can eat these right away if you want to, but you want to give some time for just all of that delicious seasoning and sugar and the vinegar, all of that to seep into your peppers. All right, we want to wipe it down. We don't want any stickiness, anything to keep our jars from sealing properly. So we want to get all of that sugar off from around the lids. And then let's go ahead and screw them down. And then we'll just get ready to start water bathing. All right, our peppers are ready to go into the water bath. And also here we have our leftover syrup that I'm going to be canning so I can put that on the shelf for later. And I've got my pepper sauce that I'm going to be sealing up and let that marinate on the shelf as well. All right, our water is boiling. We're going to put these in here and process these at a rapid boil for 15 minutes. All right, let's get these up out of the water. Here's our syrup. Hot peppers. And our vinegar pepper hot sauce. Whew. All right, gotta let those cool. And there you have it, people. Pickled jalapenos, candied jalapenos, also known as Cowboy Candy. Very versatile condiment. I can't wait to try it. Again, I'm gonna let this sit for a while on my shelf, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, but you can start eating this as soon as you make it. Again, you can can it and water bath it where it'll last well, like years on your shelf. Or you can just stick it in your refrigerator and it'll last a few months in there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you want to know more about our homesteading journey and about gardening tips and how to prepare your food. Also, leave me a comment if you have a recipe for Cowboy Candy or any other kind of recipes that you think would go good with this particular type of condiment. Be well, be blessed, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.